Hello everybody, welcome back to another Position Zero video. In today's video, we are doing Road to 1500. If you couldn't see by my number below, I did end up losing this game, and I did play relatively poorly, but I think this game is pretty interesting, so I wanted to show you. This game was played by me and some guy from South Korea. He was about 100 elo higher than me. So let's just start the game. He started off with e4, I played e5. He went knight f3, and I did knight c6, protecting my pawn from his knight. He pushes his pawn on d3, I pushed my knight on f6, and the position is deadlocked equal. He plays c4, and I respond with d6, and then he goes queen to a4, which personally I don't really like developing my queen early, and according to the bot, knight to c3 was the better move for his position. I played a move d7 with the idea of protecting my knight. It was already protected, but I didn't want this double pawn structure here, so it was a solid move. g6 was best, according to this move here, according to chess.com's engine. Then white went with b4. So when I play white, I don't like pushing my pawns very much, but this guy, he's really active with his pawns and his queen, and he only has one knight developed. So right now I'm the one up with about a piece up of material. I bring my knight here, having an attack on the queen, attack on the knight defended by my pawn. That was the idea. It was the best move in the position. White went here, which is apparently a mistake. I'm not sure why, but the idea was queen to d1 was actually best, retreating the queen back to its home square. So I take the knight, which was the best move. Pawn takes on f3, and I push my a6 pawn, which again was another good move. The idea was he can't take because takes, and the idea was takes with a fork to try to gain material on the c pawn. He goes knight to c3, which I would have done quite a while ago. I took his knight on b5. He moves his queen, and it says I'm up 3 points of material. Yeah, I do end up losing the game, of course. I take his other pawn, which was a good move, but not the best move in the position. He takes back with his d-pawn, and I do the move d5. The idea was hit an attack on the queen, and you attack these two pawns. Queen takes that pawn, which actually was a good move. I didn't realize that pawn was hanging at all. And then I do a pretty bad move. I take that first, which is already an inaccuracy within itself. And then I go queen to b8. Now, c5 was best. Now, I'm not actually sure why I did this move in the first place. My idea was trade, but I'm completely tied with material now. So my idea was this and this are his only active piece, but I had all of these pieces. So my idea was I could trade off one of his best piece and then try to create an attack. But he played the move rook to b1, which I didn't actually see at all. I took his queen, which was the best move now. He takes, and then I go rook to c8. The idea was he can't take the pawn, the rook is defended, and now I can develop my bishop castle like so. He goes h4, which is a good move. I go bishop to c6. The idea is to take because the bishop would be defended, of course, like so. And then he went rook to a7. I'm not sure particularly why he did that in the first place. I just took his pawn, which is actually an inaccuracy. We're about the same level again. And then he again moves his h1 rook down to h3. I pin his knight, and then he responds by unpinning his knight. I follow up with a castle, which is actually a blunder by castling, because if you look at the sequence here, it actually loses me material in the long run, if you could tell with this type of position. So then he plays pawn to f3, which completely like defeats the entire purpose of what he could have done. I retreat my bishop. He goes rook to g3. I take his knight, which is an inaccuracy because it kind of ruins this like pin of the bishop and knight that I had on the king. He takes back. I go rook to d8. It was an inaccuracy, but my idea was just to take control of the open file while leaving this pawn protected from the a7 rook. He takes the pawn, which actually was a free pawn. And from this position, I go f8. My idea was I was a bit scared about this, so I kind of wanted to get away from it. He takes my pawn, and then I thought I could do this, being a pin, but he had to move b6, which for some reason I didn't see. I took his rook, he takes back, and I move here, just trying to attack. And now white is the one with the advantage here. We are about halfway into the game as of now. He plays bishop b6. I go rook to b7. He goes c5, protecting the bishop from being taken. I go knight to d5. I retreat. He retreats his bishop. I'm sorry. And then I check. My idea is to try to win this bishop. He goes here. I check again. This time he runs behind the bishop. I take the free pawn. He goes to d8, which I couldn't really explain to you. I do the move a1, and then he pushes his pawn on c6. Now my idea here is knight to e3, which I played, and it was a great move because the idea is the bishop is preventing this guy from promotion, and now I can win the bishop. That's the idea. But he plays the best move in the position, which is king to f2. The idea is I can't win this because then he has take, so it would be a trade. But I check, which is a miss. The actual best move in this position was, I'm sorry. It was knight to f1. Wait, I'm sorry. So it was taking the bishop in the first place. I don't know why I did this move. This bishop was hanged to dry. I didn't have to take with my rook. I could have taken with my knight and completely sealed the game here. But I checked. Completely missing my opportunity. He goes king to e2, completely stopping my way of gaining the bishop. I try to win my opportunity back, but he gets what he wants as a trade. I check again. I win a pawn. I check again. Now the idea is he did a good move here by doing this, because now I can't win the bishop through a fork because he'll just trade off. I played g6. Was my idea of trying to win the rook. In this position, I'm up 3 points of material, even though in the actual game being up 1, according to the eval bar. He moves his rook to f4, and now I'm up 4 points of material. Yet this game ends in a draw, with him having 3 great moves at the end. I played a move f5, which is a complete miss. My idea was he can't take with 2 pieces because it's safe. That's what I thought. But he has this move, and as predicted, that was a good move. Now, this brings huge potential in the future because it allows future potential grabs. He goes what am I saying? I go d6 with my rook, trying to check. He goes there, and I move my king to protect my rook. He goes a4, and the position again it's a draw. I check. He runs the way, and I am again at 4 points of material in this position. Yeah, I didn't know what to do at all. I checked, defended by my king, and the game is again basically a draw. He goes king to e5, the best move in his position. I go pawn to h6. The idea now is he has so much potential with all my pawns. He can also check if I block, takes, and I get my pawns eaten up. And that's exactly what happens. He does the best move. I block, takes, and he can eat my pieces. Yet, despite me saying earlier in this game that I lost, which I obviously would have, there's no way I could have won this position. He offered a draw, but the game ended in a stalemate. White sold itself. It could have easily gotten 500 elo. But, yeah. That was the game. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to plug these positions into analysis boards. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.